Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary. Hello, welcome to Great Mother Speaks. I'm Tammy Taylor, your manifestation muse, and today we're talking about... To ancient man, darkness represented death, and the shadows one's impending doom. But with the veneration of Great Mother, Divine Mother energy, and the observation of her lunar cycles, we slowly began to recognize the variant energies that she embodies within us. Through the cosmos, we are either one sun sign or another. As the sun travels through the constellations, we are either one ascendant, a rising sign, or another. As the sun arrives at the horizon at the very moment of our birth, location, and time. And Great Mother is represented in us and through us as our emotional nature through the moon sign we were born in, and that engulfed our very being, the time of our incarnation. These readings are about how we really feel, really think, and what we know. In this full moon season of the Taurus moon in Western astrology or tropical astrology, and in the Aries full moon in sidereal or Vedic astrology, what we're looking at is what we know in the northern hemisphere as the darkness comes upon us and we begin to celebrate the light season, and what we are coming to believe in the southern hemisphere as the external light of the sun is increasing and we externally plant seed in hoping that we know what will grow. For this, we must understand that in order to utilize the energy of Aries, that leader, that initial point that comes through the constellational wheel of life, the astrological wheel of life, that soul that is very clear about the purpose of its incarnation is manifested physically in the increasing sun of the southern hemisphere and planting of the seed. Likened to that, with the Taurus full moon, we can say that that second house on the wheel of astrology is that grounded leadership, that grounded self-assertion, now secure in the soul, self-reliant and safe within itself, now ready to cultivate what needs to be grown within. In the northern hemisphere is how we interpret this. It's an internal process within in the northern hemisphere as the darkness sets in. So the full moon light represents the light that is within us as we assert our identity in this world anew. And also, as we secure ourselves, we begin to reassert our safety and knowing who we are in the world. It is a simultaneous looking ahead to enjoy the winter while anticipating the spring, and looking ahead with what we are newly planning in the spring, enjoying the winter. So enjoying where we are in this full moon is what Great Mother is coming through and sharing with us at this particular time. Recognizing wherever you are, she is there. However you interpret her presence your life. She is there, and specifically with regard to her lunar energies, she's coming through to you in your moon sign. Welcome back, Aquarius moon people. This is your November full moon reading. I am so happy that you've joined us. If it is your first time, Great Mother comes through and she speaks with regard to where we are now emotionally, where we are in our thoughts, our consciousness, how we're reacting to things, the seminal essence of who we are that is the impetus for action, for what we do, and for how we interact with the world. She shows us where we are with that and the transformative opportunity brought about by her positioning in the sky right now in relationship to where she was when we were born. So she was in the sign of Aquarius when you were born. And if you are Vedic or the Jyotish astrology, you're particularly a sensitive, intuitive, or empathic person, I encourage you to find out what that moon sign is for you. More than likely, if you're listening to Aquarius, that will be in Capricorn. So your moon sign may actually be in Capricorn and may resonate with you more clearly. Great Mother saying that you are taking responsibility for perhaps some harsh action towards others. You are recognizing that your nature has brought about some type of a disagreement, or that you are needing to leave a situation, follow the yellow brick road, so to speak, right? This is the oracle deck based on the 49 scenes of the Wizard of Oz as they were channeled to me in relationship to the grieving process of the mother. So all of us have some grieving process with our mothers, even with the greatest of relationships when we come into adulthood and we learn to mother ourselves. And so Great Mother came through these 49 scenes. This one with Mave, the goddess who is about taking responsibility, living your life, standing on who you are, is a gut chakra card. You are feeling this way. You know that it's time for you to assert a new direction in your life based on some disagreement in the past, just as in this scene that there was a disagreement at home on the farm about taking Toto away, who represented Dorothy's intuition. Great Mother, of course, is our intuition, the Holy Spirit, that still small voice. What we know, we know, we know. Thus, the lunar cycles and the emotional gravitational pull that we all experience. Through the gut chakra, it's experienced as a visceral knowing, an instinctual knowing, a survival knowing. So this was something that had to do with your survival. And of course, our intuition does have to do with our survival on a soul level in terms of our soul evolution. So there was some discord, and you're taking responsibility for that, Aquarius moon people. You were saying that, hey, that's where I was, this is where I am right now. I'm recognizing that it's time for me to follow my intuition. It's time for me to be in alignment with that from my gut chakra, from that part of me that make sure that my senses are in alignment with my survival needs. And what Great Mother is saying is that the transformative opportunity as a result of Aquarius moon people doing this is that you are embracing your shadow. You know, sometimes when, we realize there's something that we've done that is less than our greatest self, we can just embrace that and say, hey, I really did flub that up. Boy, I didn't know then what I know now. And hey, I was not the greatest friend. I'm a good person, but I wasn't the greatest mother. I'm a great chef, but I really wasn't the greatest listener in that particular situation. I'm a really good worker, but I really did fall behind on paying back that loan or whatever. And we realize that although there are parts of us that are still struggling to evolve, that are still struggling to align, so to speak, that gut chakra with that third eye. Here we have Inanna, the Babylonian goddess, who was the first on record to actually say, hey, the female cycles are important, and this is why. If we recognize them, the women will support us in war and battle when we have an internal aspect that needs to be dealt with before we go out into material battle. And so this internal aspect that has to be dealt with in all of us is the essence of the healing on the planet. When we heal what is the struggle within ourselves, which for Aquarius moon people oftentimes has to do with the inventive nature that Aquarius moon people have. Aquarius, of course, is ruled by Uranus, and it is ruled by this very unique expression in the world, and sharing with people, and having revelations and things, just as in this scene with Oz. He created this whole kingdom around his unique personality and was adored for that. But there was a shadow aspect, even though intuitively there were great gifts there that connected him with the whole population of people in the land of Oz that adored him. There was this aspect of him that was not quite lining up, which was the shadow side when he was found out to not be the wizard, as we see in his eyes. He was found out. He flubbed up. Hey, I was pretending to be something that I was not. And so, Aquarius moon people, you have been perhaps pretending to be something that you are not. And the transformative opportunity, just like here we saw with Oz, was to recognize that in the moment. And even when Dorothy said, "Oh, you're a horrible man," they all realized they weren't going to get what they'd asked for after going through all the trouble to retrieve the broom as he commanded. He responded by simply saying, "Oh, no, dear, I'm not a bad man. I'm just a very bad wizard." So that's the transformative opportunity, is to embrace that aspect that may not be up to snuff, and to love all of yourself through that. Because what Great Mother doesn't want you to overlook is that the angels are working with you through this, because you are embracing your shadow, because you have owned up to this quote unquote shortcoming in relationship to others. When we have Aquarius energy or Uranus energy, as all of us on the planet and the collective consciousness are experiencing now, with this year and a half now in this Uranus Aries square that we're having, Uranus in Aries, and that's that unique expressive energy of Uranus in this Aries, very Martian energy, warlike energy, and everybody has their unique expression, right? That they're fighting to defend. It's very hard to stand on the fence. It's not a time for that. Energetically, the cosmos is demanding that we get very clear about where we do in fact stand. And in that process, there are, quote unquote, some mistakes made, some oversights made, some feelings that are hurt, some relationships that suffer. And Great Mother wants you to know that as long as you continue living in loving detachment from that aspect of you that is a bad wizard, but a very good human being, then you're going to be just fine. Just like when Dorothy realized, hey, this Miss Gulch is out to get me. And no one listened to her. And she took it very personally that she was out to get Toto. You know how people love their pets and take it very personally? Well, that's how Dorothy was. And Toto was her intuition. She relied on him for insight. And thus, Miss Gulch was out for her intuition, her very soul communication. Instinct, our gut, is how the ego communicates to the soul. Intuition is how the soul communicates to the mind, the body-mind. And so her body-mind was under threat. And that's why that's the root chakra card there, the newt card, orphan. She indeed was an orphan, and Miss Gulch was really exemplifying that through her attack of Dorothy. So this feeling of abandonment, of abuse that others may have had as a result of your actions, or you feeling that way because of a tendency perhaps to beat yourself up because of not really being able to fulfill your creative ambitions or your altruistic aims, is really what Great Mother's coming through, and she's saying the angels are supporting and assisting you with, Aquarius moon people. The shadow side of this is that you are actually undergoing a death and rebirth. You are actually being resurrected. So this whole experience is enabling you to emerge anew, just as Dorothy did when she took the broom, which represented the phallic symbol of power, taking her power back. In this scene, we see the Wicked Witch of the West has been dissolved by this Holy Spirit of the water. So as a throat chakra card, the throat is indeed the chakra that is ruled by Gemini and Virgo, Mercury, communication. So we have this energy that perhaps says that the person was a Gemini or a Virgo that this conflict was with, or the situation was representative of a communications environment, of a transportation environment, of a healing, a health environment, or a daily situation that would also be representative of Virgo energy we're seeing here in the waxing gibbous moon. The waxing gibbous moon is when we refine, edit, revise where we are and where we have been. And so that's the shadow side of this, Aquarius moon people. You are in the process of revising who you are as a result of this experience. You are editing who you are and what you want to be about, because the throat chakra is all about that expression, isn't it? And so when we're dealing with that mercurial aspect of ourselves, sometimes it takes a while for us to feel assertive enough to express it, especially after we've gone through a bump in the road and our confidence has been shaken a little bit, represented here by the gut chakra card. But you have the angels, you have the internal eye, the ajna, the third eye there, embracing the shadow, regrounding you with Nut, the goddess of the skies. And so you are aligning and dancing with your inner wisdom. The Hebrew goddess Sophia is letting us know that regardless of which direction you choose to express yourself, regardless of what way, your heart is in the right place, Aquarius moon people. And as we see here with the new moon, since the new moon, which is approximately 2 weeks ago, you have been getting very much in touch with this inner wisdom. The heart is ruled by Venus, which rules Taurus and Libra energy. This is the Taurus full moon. So there's been a buildup from the new moon that was just in Scorpio to this full moon that is now in Taurus. So we have kind of a reverse situation going on here. The new moon, which the Sophia card represents about 2 weeks ago, was in fact in Scorpio. This is that kind of Marsian energy, right? And so maybe that's when this actually occurred and you knew that you had to make a change in your behavior, but you didn't know exactly why or how. And maybe you did know why, but the way that you did it has created this conflict. It's still based on inner wisdom, Aquarius moon people, because what we're seeing here with the heart chakra is that your heart was and still is in the right place. Venus is the goddess of beauty and of eloquent expression. And so that's why this is in the shadow position in this full moon period, is that, it didn't seem like it then, and it may not now, but that's why this is in the shadow position. Great Mother is bringing that forward to you. And just like in this scene where the Scarecrow tells Dorothy, go this way or go that way, it doesn't matter. Your heart's in the right place. Release the fear of doing what you know you need to do, going in the direction that you feel that you need to know. It's good enough. The Dagda, the patriarch of the Gaelic pantheon, the Irish pantheon, is a god that represents a maternal nature of the masculine. He held a big hammer, which represented the phallic symbol, but he also was a very good cook. He was a harpist and very balanced in his expression. And so Great Mother wants you to release, again, holding on to the negative, holding on to what may not have been perfect about this situation. Because, listen, it's close to your heart to have friends, to be in the collective. But it's also very important, Great Mother is saying, is to avoid excessive detachment. Even though the angels are encouraging you to live in loving detachment, that means to accept people and situations as they are, including this situation. Accept it for what it is. Embrace the shadow. Okay? Because you are being given an opportunity to completely release what is not lining up with what you know. Okay, and to move forward and act and express from that. We see here that we have the law of Divine Mother, the double yin symbol. That is a deep internal symbology, isn't it? That's the feminine times 2. So that's that deep insight that has the Ankh symbol here, which in this deck represents the second chakra. So she's saying, continue to go forward and toward what you desire on that yellow brick road, Aquarius moon people, and you will embody the self-mothering that you need at this time. There's some self-love and self-caring that you need, and that only you can give to yourself. Maybe this was the cause of the strife, perhaps expecting someone else to come forward with that. But you know that they are not going to be able to do anything that you cannot do for yourself. And so maybe this experience has been an opportunity to be more demonstrative to yourself and to others about exactly what is necessary to ground you in your life, to be very clear about the priorities in your life, just as in this scene when Dorothy runs into her room after Miss Galt takes Toto away. She's very clear about what it is that has occurred to her, that this has been a very traumatic experience, and that it is not acceptable to her, but she is going to embrace herself and take care of herself. We see that also in the scene that it's in the full moon position, Aquarius moon people. And so with this Taurus full moon, this Aries full moon, if you are going by the Vedic, you're looking at the Aries energy, which is that Martian energy, that kind of warlike energy, but that energy that is very focused on action. And so it's saying to you, sensitive, intuitive, empathic, or Joydish astrology person, to really, really dig deeply into the self-mothering. Really make it a priority when you wake up in the morning. Take care of yourself first. Before you get stressed out about doing something for someone else in any part of your day. Ask yourself what it is that you need first. That kind of active self-mothering is what the Isis card is calling for. And your final outcome, what Great Mother is offering through this insight, this balance, this peace that will come to you by this self-acceptance, this confirmation and clarity, is your divine expression, is your resurrection and your rebirth. Regardless of whether or not others believe you, sometimes we can go through something and we want to make amends, or we feel that things won't be right. I won't be in balance until things are right. Or I don't know how to make things right. They're just kind of unresolved and I have no closure. Great Mother is saying again, your heart is in the right place. You are undergoing a rebirth and a resurrection for a divine expression. That is going to come through. You don't have to worry about that. You're in alignment with it.
So there's no other outcome but for your divine expression to be manifested, Aquarius Moon people. Thank you so much for listening, sharing, and subscribing. We do these readings on the full moon and the new moon, and we want to be sure that you know that if you email me or get in touch through greatmotherspeaks.info, let me know what you got from Great Mother Speaks message. What did she say specifically to you through this message? And we can set up a personal reading for you. As always, remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother.